Hey, it's Andrew Morgan, host of the Nomcast, the Netflix original movie podcast. Each week, we review the biggest Netflix original movies with special guests from the film industry, the music industry, comedians, and of course, our fellow podcasters. Check us out on the web at nomcastpod.com. Follow us on the socials at nomcastpod. And most importantly, listen and subscribe to us wherever you get podcasts. Hit that beat one time.
Hello there. I'm Colleen.
I'm Anders.
And I'm Daniel.
We're three nerds that met through our love of science fiction and fantasy storytelling. Of course, one of our favorites is George Lucas's signature achievement, Star Wars.
And if there's one thing the internet definitely doesn't have enough of, it's nerds talking about Star Wars. So here we are with yet another Star Wars podcast, where each week we discuss one of the films in the current Star Wars canon.
From the sands of Tatooine to the levels of Coruscant, we cover it all. Yet another Star Wars podcast is available wherever you get your podcast and is part of the Forgotten Entertainment family.
Ladies and gentlemen, please notice that exits are conveniently located at the front and rear of this auditorium. When leaving the theater, we suggest that the exit at the front of the auditorium will allow you easier access to the parking areas. Thank you.
No, you're gross. You know you're gross.
I don't.
Oh, whoa, that's not what we do here on FC.
That is what I do.
He's like adjusting himself in his car with the lights on. He doesn't even turn the light off in his car. Gremlins 2.
Don't look it up. Don't look it up. Dads, gotta love them.
What have I done? Hello, I'm Mike Butler.
And I'm Mike Field.
And you're listening to the Forgotten Cinema Podcast. Each episode, we highlight a film that, for a variety of reasons, was forgotten by audiences, whether it be because a more popular movie was released at the same time, or the film simply didn't catch on with an audience in its initial run. We'll discuss what we love about the film, or maybe don't love about it, but we'll always recommend you revisit it.
Why are you laughing?
I'm talking, and I just see the top of my eye, and you're like...
Because I was adjusting my mic.
Yeah, I'm born ready.
Awesome.
We'll discuss what we love about the movie, or maybe don't love about it, but we'll always recommend you revisit it. If you enjoy our podcast, please feel free to rate, review, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, or wherever you're listening to this podcast.
Look at you tossing Amazon Music in there.
Right? I didn't think. I thought maybe I should try it. You know, you can't be the only one. I'll take a dip in that water.
Episode number 99.
Woo! Gosh, I'll save my woos for episode 100. I'm going to have like the biggest woo of all time for episode.
Oh, I can't wait for that. So we are actually doing I would say a listener suggestion, but I know that she doesn't listen to the show because, we curse too much. And that is today is, as you're listening to this, well, when this is released, it is March 24th, but it is also my daughter Penelope's 12th birthday.
Happy birthday.
So she wanted us to do Frankenweenie for a while. And then when we found out that this season was going to go through her birthday and then this date was, the release day, it felt like a good time to do it. So I'm hoping that she's going to tell me why she wanted us to do this movie. So take it away, Penelope.
My name is Penelope, and I suggested that my dad and his friend do the movie Frankenweenie for their podcast because I think it's a really good movie, and I don't think it gets as much love as the other Tim Burton movies like Corpse Bride and Nightmare Before Christmas.
All right, good stuff. I don't know what she said. It's going to be 10 weeks from now, but it sounds like it's all good.
Yeah, sure, it's a winner.
So let me get to the synopsis. Young Victor Frankenstein is a science nerd and an outsider at school, but he does have one good friend, his dog, Sparky. But then tragedy strikes, and Sparky shuffles off this mortal coil. Well, come on now.
Really?
I know, whoever wrote this is getting a little too fancy here. Victor is heartbroken, but his science teacher gives him an idea of how to jolt old Sparky back to life. The experiment is successful, and all goes well until Victor's fellow students steal his secret and use it to resurrect other dead animals with monstrous consequences. Yeah, no, exactly. I guess that's okay.
It's all right.
Got a little synopsis writer got a little ahead of themselves. But,
yeah, I think so.
Yeah. All right, let's get to the facts. So we did Frankenweenie. It is the movie that makes Mike cry. Did you cry when you watched this?
Oh, yeah.
How many times?
2 cries. One, like, I kind of welled up a little bit.
Cry like you sobbed, like you had to stop the movie to sob.
I did have to use my shirt to dry my eyes. Yes.
Dear Lord, man. It's an animated movie.
It's still a dog. It doesn't matter.
All right. So Frankenweenie has a runtime of 87 minutes. It's rated PG. Production budget of $39 million. It came out on October 5th, 2012. That was a Friday. Opening weekend, it did $11 million. Domestic 35 and then worldwide 81. So it doubled its budget worldwide, which is not half bad. Production company was Walt Disney Pictures and Tim Burton Productions, and distributed by Walt Disney Studios Motion Pictures, which is just basically, I should have just said Disney, but they have to have a 5-word thing there. So it came out, like I said, on the 5th of October. It went up against Taken 2. Not really. I would think that's not really a direct competitor to Frankenweenie, obviously. But I mean,
not really.
You have to think that even though Frankenweenie is for kids, that
it's still got a lot of that Nightmare Before Christmas, Tim Burton goodwill.
But parents got to bring them.
Yeah.
So you're competing against what parents want.
Oh, that's true.
That's what I'm saying. You also had Pitch Perfect, and then in a limited release, the movie Butter, VHS, and The Paperboy.
Was Butter the one with the girl that was rapping in like the English rapper girl? No,
that was Patty Cakes.
Oh, okay. Yep.
That's actually a pretty good movie.
Oh, I know.
I think she's not English. She's Australian, I believe.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I actually like that movie. Butter is the one with Jennifer. No, Alias.
Jennifer Garner. Oh
my God. So she plays. It's like a butter festival, and she's one of the contestants.
I've never seen. I think I know what.
Butter. Yeah. It's not that bad. I've seen it. I haven't seen VHS, which is the horror movie, like the horror.
It's a collection of horror shorts. Yeah.
And I haven't seen The Paperboy either. I just remember the poster of The Paperboy because it was supposed to be like Zac Efron, and it was like this like deep down south mystery or something, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
You'd like VHS a lot.
Would I?
It's very old school kind of 80s.
All right, I'll check it out.
That's good.
Yeah. The 12th, which is the week after, you had Argo, which I actually like. Here Comes the Boom with Kevin James. Did you ever see that one where he's an MMA fighter?
Yeah.
That's all right. Sinister, Seven Psychopaths, which you like Seven Psychopaths, right?
No, I've never seen Seven.
Oh, really?
I want to see Seven Psychopaths. Unless I see Seven Psychopaths. Oh, that's the one with Sam Rockwell.
Yeah.
I do like Seven Psychopaths.
Yeah, I know.
Mind. I forgot. Yeah. I was confusing that with the one with Chris Pine, by the limo director.
Oh, Stretch, the one we did?
No, not the one. The one he did. The one he did right before Star Trek. Pine did right before Star Trek. I thought it was Carnahan.
What's the Smoking Aces?
Smoking Aces.
Yeah,
no, I get this.
I'm not a Smoking Aces guy either. You also had Atlas Shrugged 2, The Strike, and The Perks of Being a Wallflower. So that was a big weekend. The 28th of September, which is the week before, you had Hotel Transylvania, which is obviously Frankenweenie's big.
That is a direct.
Yeah.
That is also weird that it's March and there's 2 Halloween.
Hotel Transylvania is, they're going on to their 4th one now. They've already done 3.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they're doing a 4th one. So it's popular.
Oh, no, it's popular. It's just strange the March, but the March release date might mean more of a Halloween.
What are you talking about, March?
Release?
That's September. We're not March. We're in October here.
Are we in October?
October 5th.
Why am I thinking it was March?
I don't know because you don't pay attention.
I wrote down the wrong.
All right, brother. Thanks for coming to the episode.
All right, well, I'll delete that or keep it in.
Oh, shocker.
All right, I'll keep
You're
it in.
Delete a Butler mistake.
I'll keep it in.
Field makes
All right,
a mistake. It's in there. September 28th, Hotel Transylvania. You also had Butler's favorite movie, Looper. And the movie won't back down. Butler does not like Looper. So this movie was directed by Tim Burton. He's also directed Edward Scissorhands, Corpse Bride, Batman, and Batman Returns. It is actually based on an idea of his that they did as a short film, which he directed called the same name, Frankenweenie. This short film was done in 1984. It was written by Leonard Rips. He does not have any other credits, unfortunately. But this screenplay for the, remake, or I would say reboot because they've added stuff to it.
Yeah.
It was done by John August, who did the movie Go, which we covered in season 5. Big Fish, The Nines, which he directed, and then Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, amongst other movies. Cinematography by Peter Sorg, who's done Corpse Bride, Coraline, which is my other daughter's, Veronica. She is deathly afraid of that movie. I can't even bring it up around her.
A lot of people are really creeped out by the button eyes.
She does not like the button eyes. Yeah,
I never thought it was.
Why we are now recording in my house, and I have purposely lowered my voice because I do not want her to hear me say it because I know she's upstairs.
Wow,
I know she cannot talk about that movie. Anyways, he also did Early Man that just came out. That was last year, the year before, 2018. It was a stop motion movie too. Remember Early Man? Remember all the posters we had for it?
Yeah. That was 2 years ago now, I believe.
Yeah. Composer Danny Elfman. I'm a huge Danny Elfman guy. He's been nominated for 4 Oscars for Milk, Big Fish, Good Will Hunting, and Men in Black. He's also he does the Batman theme, and he did Nightmare Before Christmas. He plays Jack Skellington in The Nightmare Before Christmas, for those out there.
Yep.
Edited by 2 people, Chris Lebenzin, who was nominated for an Oscar for editing in Crimson Tide and Top Gun. He's also done Weird Science, and Hudson Hawk, one of our season 1 movies.
I love it when an episode comes together.
You also had Mark Solomon editing. He did Sherlock Gnomes, Sergeant Stubby, and The Tale of Despero. Produced by Alison Abate. I apologize if I said that name wrong. She's done The Iron Giant, which I can't believe The Iron Giant was never nominated for an Oscar.
Yeah.
That kind of
it was before there was a Best Animated Picture.
Was it 99? Was it before that?
I think it was before
maybe.
that.
All right.
Because obviously it would have won back then. Yeah.
She's also doing the upcoming Tom and Jerry, and she produced Scoob. And then obviously Tim Burton produced it. He produces all of his own movies, but I wanted to find one movie that maybe he didn't direct, and he produced Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. So for those out there who are interested in that.
He didn't direct Nightmare Before Christmas either.
I know, but he is always associated with that.
He is kind of
I was looking for a movie that you never
the Gremlins
of
the or not Gremlins, the Poltergeist director.
That's like almost right. No, that's like the big misconception. Everyone thinks that Burton directed Nightmare Before Christmas, but it's actually Henry Selick who also directed James and the Giant Peach, which no one ever really talks about. And I like James and the Giant Peach.
That might be forgotten because I don't think kids are ever shown it anymore.
I always liked that one. I don't know why. Maybe I'm not remembering it right though.
No, James and the Giant Peach is really good.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get to our cast. You had Catherine O'Hara as Mrs. Frankenstein, the weird girl, and the gym teacher. Everyone probably now knows her from her role on Schitt's Creek, but she was also in Best in Show, Beetlejuice. She's the mother in Home Alone. She's in Wyatt Earp. She's in A Mighty Wind. She's in a lot of the Christopher Guest movies, which are really funny. If you're into improv movies with a bunch of funny people, I would check those out. Waiting for Guffman's another one. I don't know if she's in Waiting for Guffman, though.
She's also the voice of Sally in Nightmare Before Christmas.
There you go.
So another stop motion Tim Burton.
Yeah, absolutely. She's worked with Tim Burton before, obviously. Yeah. Martin Short plays Mr. Frankenstein, Mr. Burgermeister. Is that right? And Nasser. He is from Inner Space. I know him from there, from Three Amigos, The Father of the Bride 1 and 2. He's also obviously from SNL in the early 80s, I believe. You had Martin Landau as Mr. Rozgursky.
Rozgursky.
Yeah, something like that.
I just put the science teacher in all my notes. I was like, I'm not even trying.
He won an Oscar for his role in Ed Wood. He's also nominated for Crimes and Misdemeanors and Tucker, The Man in a Dream. He's also in the movie Ready to Rumble, which we also did in season 5. And if I didn't mention this, Mike's going to mention it. I know he's going to. He's also in X-Files Fight the Future.
That's right. That's right.
You're waiting, weren't you? You're sitting there waiting.
I was like, if you don't say it, man.
I knew it was coming. Charlie Tahan as Victor. He was in the TV show Ozark. He's also in the TV show Castle Rock. And he's in the movie Charlie St. Cloud. He plays Charlie St. Cloud's brother, I guess the one that dies. Oh, sorry. Spoiler alert. Winona Ryder as Elsa Van Helsing. She's nominated for an Oscar for The Age of Innocence, Little Women. She's also in Heathers and Reality Bites. Atticus Schaefer as Edgar. Or Igor in this, or he's supposed to be Igor.
Yeah.
He's actually a voice on the TV show Pete the Cat, and he's also in the movie The Unborn. Robert Capron as Bob. He's in Diary of a Wimpy Kid and The Way, Way Back. James Hiroyuki Liao is Toshiaki, right? Toshiaki?
Yeah. Toshiaki.
He's in Battle of Los Angeles, the TV show Unforgettable, and he's in a couple episodes of the TV show Barry. And then finally of Conchata Ferrell. I think I said that right. I apologize. She passed away actually this past year. She plays Bob's mom. She's in TV show 2.5 Men. She's also in Aaron Brockovich and Network. And we also, I usually like to, Martin Landau, we lost 4 years ago, 2017.
Yep.
Which I remembered, but that still seems too soon in terms of, I thought it was longer, like a while back.
Yeah.
So this movie, Frankenweenie, was actually nominated for Best Animated Feature in 2012. It did not win, Butler. Can you name the other 4 nominees?
In 2012?
Yeah. How about this? I'll give you the other nominees. You tell me what one.
Okay.
Okay, ready? Brave, Paranorman, The Pirates in an Adventure with Scientists. That's the whole movie.
Yep.
And Wreck-It Ralph. What one?
Brave.
Right.
Yeah.
Because God forbid Pixar loses.
Exactly. Although I like Wreck-It Ralph. I actually really like Pirates. I thought that was
The really Pirates fun. In an Adventure with Scientists?
Yeah.
What
Have
is
you ever
that?
Seen, it's, I believe it's the one with by the people that did Wallace and Gromit.
Oh, right. Okay.
It's really funny. I really enjoyed it.
But it's not going to win.
That's fine. I went to go see it in the theater.
What has Pixar ever lost?
No, because when they released Good Dinosaur, they still released other stuff.
Right. So has Pixar ever lost when they've entered a movie in the
since they've had that
nomination? I want to say yes, but I don't think so. Because there's been times when they haven't had one in there. in terms of haven't had a nominee.
Oh yeah, if they have something in there, they probably
usually win.
Unless it's Cars.
I don't think Cars was ever
stinks.
nominated, was it?
No, I don't think so.
I don't remember. So, where do you want to start?
Oh, this is your daughter's movie.
Well, that doesn't mean that I start.
Let me head over to the notes portion of my notes page.
Well,
let's start with.
Okay.
Well, no, after you.
Well, I mentioned that was Best Animated Feature 2012.
Right.
This movie was originally set for release in November of 2011 and then was moved to March 9th, 2012, which is maybe why you had your mess up before.
Okay.
Then it was moved again to October 5th, 2012. It got pushed out of March 9th because they replaced it with John Carter from Mars. Well, I think they just call it John Carter now, but they replaced it with that movie in March and they pushed it to October. This is an October movie. I don't know why they were thinking for November when they first did it for 2011.
Yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense.
This is definitely an October movie. It's definitely a Halloween movie. So yeah, that didn't make any sense. So it got pushed to the right date. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
So I guess I would start with talk about the movie. I would talk about like the most impressive part is the animation.
Of always is with stop motion. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I thought the animation was really, really detailed, really well done. You know, I'm not a big fan of The Corpse Bride. I've watched it once, so I can't really speak about how advanced that was from Nightmares.
Was The Corpse Bride a musical? Did they sing a lot in that one?
I don't think so. I think there is a song in it, but I don't know if it is a musical.
Right, okay.
But I can't remember like how much more advanced that was from Nightmare. But this, you can tell there's a lot more going on in this every frame than there was in Nightmare. The detail's still there, but the amount of like the first thing that really impressed me was when they're on the carpet and they're walking the carpet in Victor's house, you can see their footsteps in the carpet. Like the carpet's got pressure pushing down on it. And every frame and every footstep they take, those kind of small little details were super impressive to me. And the whole time I'm watching it, I'm just looking at the little like carvings in their face from when people handmade them, the movement of their mouth, all that kind of stuff is really impressive to me. And I don't know if I know I would never have the patience to make a movie like that.
Oh, I know.
But that in movies like this always impress. Like this movie could be like, I'm not a big fan of Coraline.
You don't have to whisper.
But,
it's fine.
I'm still impressed by the use of animation in that film and a film like this, all that kind of, I understand the work that goes into it. So I thought that was really, really impressive and well done.
Well, we both watched the making of it. It's like we watched this on Disney Plus, and on Disney Plus, part of the extras, there's a 23-minute documentary talking about, it's one of the producers walking through and talking about what it takes to put the movie together. And they're showing the different departments and all that stuff. And one of the lines that they say in there, and I was talking about, there's 30 animators that are working animators, I'm not talking about people making the models or people building.
Yeah, there's hundreds of those all the time.
But the people that are responsible for animating the scenes, there's 30 of them. And their goal is to get to 2 minutes of film a week.
Yep. 2 seconds on a good day.
That's ridiculous. Ridiculous that kind of fortitude. And like, even like when you like, okay, you leave on a Friday, I'll see you on Monday. How do you remember? How do you remember? Yeah. I know that they're sitting there with the cameras and they're watching the playback and stuff like that. And to your point about how it looks, I mean, Nightmare Before Christmas was 93. So this movie is 20 years from the work that they did.
Oh, right.
So they probably improved a lot of that. I was fascinated by when they were making the dog or any of the characters, they would make the frame, the skeleton, but then the woman was in there building the frame out of like all the nuts and bolts and like, so they could be pliable and movable and stuff like that.
Every joint, they start at the feet, work their way up.
Yeah. I was impressed by that. That's
all the mouth movement. I was impressed. The eyelids have to move.
Yeah.
And in different scenes with all the different eyelids. And then they show the script. And the script I was like is frame by frame. And it's got the words that the actors speak phonetically.
Yeah. Yeah. The M-O-O. Yes.
Yeah. So so frame number 95, they're going to say an M word. So I've got to push the face down. And then, but also I got to remember this person is blinking. So I got to look at this person blinking, but then the person in the background. I wondered that too.
I wondered that when they do scenes with multiple people,
like in the gymnasium.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wondered if it's one person doing it or if it's one person controlling the lead, or maybe like 2 or 3 characters, like they split it up, because I don't think I could sit there and remember what every single person was doing, You know what I mean? Like I'd have to have help.
That's why it takes that's why you only get 2 seconds on a good day.
Yeah, no, that's ridiculous.
24 frames a second. That means you've done it 48 shots.
Ugh.
The entire day, you only get 48
Yeah.
frame pictures, basically.
It's impressive, but it's just, I don't know if I could do it.
Well, that's one of the guys talks about, like, I don't, like everybody says it takes patience. I don't think it takes patience because I don't have patience, but it takes perseverance. You just have to know at the end of the shoot that you're going to have something.
It's almost like too, like this kind of job, this animation, it's irreplaceable. Like machines aren't going to replace that. You know what I mean? That level of intricacy and artistry that goes within those shots. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Like building and making and putting everything together. Like that takes a person. That takes, I don't know. It's just very impressive. Any kind of stop motion, like even like Paranorman is stop motion.
I love Paranorman. Yeah.
Yeah. Any of the Wallace Gromit movies, obviously the guys that do all those movies. I'm trying to remember the last one. It might have been Early Man. No, what's the one with Hugh Jackman was it? That was Early Man.
Early Man. Yeah.
That's probably the last one. That stop motion. Yeah.
The last one that went out there, though. Chicken Run 2's coming out soon.
Oh,
yeah. So they are working on that.
Yeah, that's right. Chicken Run. That was from the 90s too.
I like Chicken Run.
No. I get that. I'm just saying that's they don't do it. Obviously, it's very difficult to keep doing.
Yeah, because it's not only the puppets, but then you have hundreds of every character and they break and you have got to repair them.
Oh yeah,
the repair studio had hundreds of people just working on the hospital. Yeah, they call it a hospital.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty good. They also we keep saying where they are. This was shot in East London at 3 Mill Studio, and filming began in July of 2010. So that makes sense. July of 2010, you start and you're set for release November 2011. So that's like a full year and a half.
Yep.
But still, that's got to be a tight. Well, I guess you're editing as you go. So it's not like you have to put it in post. You have to light it as you're doing.
You have to light the scene like it's a regular shot.
Yeah, I wonder. So like you have 30 animators. So you have 30 separate stations shooting 30 different things.
Yeah.
So the cinematographer's walking around going, okay, we're going to light this. We're going to put the lights here.
Oh yeah. There's no way. There's no way Tim Burton was there. I think he was there approving things.
Yeah.
But I think the animation director was basically the director of this film.
Right.
Well, and then Tim would get the shots and kind of he storyboarded it.
Well, that's what Wes Anderson would do with
like Isle of Dogs and stuff.
Isle of Dogs and the other one, Fantastic Mr. Fox. He wasn't always there, but they were sending him stuff and he would just approve it. Yeah. Okay. Do that.
Right.
Yeah. So.
I mean, you really want to leave this in the hands of the experts. But yeah, it's pretty awesome seeing the different sets all like laid out and seeing everybody working in tandem. So. You get your scene done, you can edit that one scene, and they really are beholden to the storyboards as well.
Oh, of course, you have to.
So you match, you can't go off on the rails.
And you're recording the audio first.
So they can try to match the voice and see if they can find some action within the characters.
Right. So you have to have that script set. And I mean, I guess if they wanted to add dialogue here and there, but can you imagine, we wanted to add a scene, how long that would take?
Oh, they'd have to go back into the studio and everything.
Right.
Plus, how many of those puppets survive and stuff like that.
Well, remember when the studio that did Wallace and Gromit burned down and they lost all that stuff? Oh, that was horrible.
Yep.
That was horrible. So New Holland, which is where this place is, actually was once the name of Australia. Did you know that? Some geography.
I did actually not know that.
So in the mid 1600s to 1800s, it was named by the Dutch explorer Abel Tasman, who named it New Holland. But then obviously, they changed the name. But the Aussie island of Tasmania is named after Mr. Abel. So
I was going to say that sounds like Tasmania.
So there you go. Just a little history for you there.
I like that. I got
another little history.
All right, go ahead.
The experiment on the frog in the movie.
Yes,
it was a real experiment that was performed by Luigi Galvani in 1771. It's called the Galvani effects in biology. It's the galvanic effects are named after him, but it's also he is known as the discoverer of bioelectricity. So I just throw that out there too.
Have you ever done that in school?
No.
I
have dissected a guinea pig.
Yeah, a guinea pig.
Well, like a fetal pig.
A fetal pig. Yeah, okay. I was gonna say.
I've dissected a fetal pig.
Yeah, I've done that.
I mashed that. I was terrible at it. I couldn't find anything.
Oh, I was really good at it.
Well, you're fantastic. You're the best. I didn't know if you knew that. But yeah, no, I've done that. I don't think I've ever dissected a frog. Never had the ET moment where the frogs would
they'll come alive and jump all over the place.
never did that. So, but it was just a fetal pig. Yeah. So, did you notice in the Pet Cemetery the grave of Zero from Nightmare Before Christmas?
No, Zero had a grave because the whole time I'm thinking Sparky is Zero.
No. So in this movie, as they're in the cemetery, there's a grave that's for Zero.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Okay.
So there you go. And so of all the notes I go through, one of the notes I had here this was the last horror film released by Disney since last year, or excuse me, 2019, Ready or Not. Like, this isn't a horror movie. Would you consider this a horror movie? It's a kid's movie.
Yeah, it's a kid's horror movie.
It's not. How is it a horror movie? I don't really. I get that it's a homage to the old black and white, obviously Frankenstein, but the old horror films. But I don't consider it a horror movie.
It's got monsters. It's got spooky moments. For like a 4 or 5 year old.
Is this scarier than Monster House? That was another one we did a couple seasons ago.
It's got more adult themes than Monster House, but no, I don't think it's scarier than Monster House. I think Nightmare Before Christmas is also scarier than this. But I think that Disney probably asked Tim Burton to...
Oogie Boogie's scary.
Oh, not just... I'm talking also the werewolf,
I guess.
the deceased zombie people, the creature under the stairs. This doesn't have... None of the monsters that get created in this movie are as creepy as anything was in Nightmare. And I almost wonder if Disney told Tim Burton, you can't go that creepy.
You think?
I think everything's so toned down for kids and so washed out that it's so wimpy now, everything.
But if that really was a problem, I could see just Tim Burton doing it on his own or going to another studio. Why would he be beholden to Disney?
Disney might still own Frankenweenie as a whole.
Oh, because they shot it in it. Yeah. So we talked about it briefly, but go ahead and talk about like the original.
So the original in 1984 was Tim Burton's first live action feature. He got his start in animation, obviously. So he shoots this short for Disney, and they're supposed to put it in front of Pinocchio, I believe. And he finishes the film. It's very similar to this film.
Very similar.
Without the monsters and stuff. It's just a really quick version of it. Disney watches it and goes, what is this? Who's this film for? I don't understand. You've wasted our money. They fire Tim Burton, and they figure out a place to put this short. It goes in front of a couple of things. But also,
this has like Daniel Stern in it, Shelley Duvall.
Oh, he gets some good names. Yeah.
And the kid from Neverending Story, but go ahead.
Yep. Oh, that's where it's okay. I was like, I know that kid.
Yeah.
And so Tim Burton gets fired from Disney. And it's not until the success of Edward Scissorhands and Batman and all that they bring him back for Nightmare Before Christmas and re-release Frankenweenie on certain films and as a short attached to Nightmare Before Christmas.
So he's got to have some leverage then on them saying like, now we're going to do it the way I wanted to do it.
Possibly, yeah. But Disney could also have been like, yeah, but can you please like hold the reins? This is kind of...
I don't know.
The monsters can't be this creepy.
Here's the thing with Disney, though. They own so much now. They own Fox, they own all this content. They own all this content that is so anti-Disney or not Disney. They have to pivot, and whether they create its own little substrate, like how they do with Touchstone and stuff like that.
They could absolutely do that. Make a Leica studio or something like that where they can do more adult kind of themes within kids' movies, but that's not the Disney way. And that's not what's going to sell dolls at Disney World when you're walking through the Magic Kingdom.
But even in this movie, like Mr. Whiskers, the bat hybrid Mr. Whiskers, that thing was scary.
He's a little creepy, but he
gets impaled.
I was shocked that Mr. Whiskers didn't make it. I was waiting for Mr. Whiskers to hit in the head and turn back into the kitten.
But he's in the short. So the short
takes place back in time.
Does it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because he's like, let's watch one of the old movies. We're talking about the short.
There's a 2-minute short.
There's a 2-minute short where Victor is sitting with Frankenweenie or Sparky, now all Frankenweenied out.
He's always Sparky. He's
always Sparky, but now he's Frankenweenied out. He's the undead dog. And he's looking through his old tapes that they used to make together. He goes, which one do you want to watch now, Sparky? Oh, let's watch this one. And it cuts to the old shorts they used to make when he was still a regular dog.
Oh, okay.
So Sparky is still all regulared out. So that's why Mr. Mittens can still be.
You're right. You're right.
But I love Mr. Mittens every time he showed up, and it just has his eyes.
Because he looks just like the girl.
Yeah. It's just like
her prophetic poop.
When will you make a poop? But when will you dream about me? I started laughing. I thought that was a pretty funny moment. Something big happens every time. Like the poop is an M and a V. At first I was like, all right, who knows what kind of poop that is? And then it's clearly an M. And I'm like, oh my God.
This is when you first watched it or like till last night?
This is the first time I've watched it. So
this is the first time you watched this movie?
I've watched little bits and pieces when I was in the booth before.
Oh, wait a minute. I thought you watched this movie fully.
Oh no, I've never.
So you watched.
So I told you I didn't want to watch it because the dog dies.
Oh,
I have watched the short before a long time ago.
I thought that you had watched it and it made you cry and you never wanted to revisit. I didn't know you were scared enough to watch this because you knew it was going to make you cry.
Oh, I knew it was going to make me cry because I kind of cried when I was watching the scene where he died the second time.
Oh well, then I usually so then you did. So you enjoyed this movie? No, you didn't. Ooh, okay. Because I'm sorry. Because now this podcast is taking a whole new turn. I thought you had seen this movie already.
No.
Okay. All right. So then I'm curious to know what you didn't like about it then.
I have the same problem Disney had with the original short. Who is this movie for? This movie is grim. It is glum. It is depressing. It is got little tiny moments of uplifting parts, but it is also not funny. It's not fun. I'm watching this go, and I really enjoy the animation. And yes, the dog parts and the child's love for his dog obviously get to me all the time. And that's handled well, but the rest of the movie is a mess. And the other characters are not enjoyable and they're not funny. I didn't find any attachment to anybody.
Okay.
Even Victor, I enjoyed his love for his dog, but I wasn't even big on Victor. So the movie itself, if you ask me why it's forgotten, that's going to be my answer. Is this movie has, I don't know who this movie is for. It's not as kitschy and fun as Nightmare Before Christmas. It's not as scary as Nightmare Before Christmas. It doesn't have musical notes as Nightmare Before Christmas. I didn't find, although the animation was great, that the characters weren't as colorful as the Nightmare characters. So I didn't not like it, but I also didn't understand why it existed. So like
to honor a contract with Tim Burton.
Exactly. Yeah. I just didn't get it. It's almost like they were like, Tim, you read this contract. We got one movie with you, buddy. You got to give us another animated movie. You got that Frankenweenie short. Just work on that. Come on. I don't know. I don't know. I have a lot of notes. There's stuff I like in the movie, but overall, I can't say I like the movie.
Really?
Yeah.
I just didn't like, you didn't enjoy watching it?
I did. That's the thing. I did enjoy watching it. I'm glad I watched it, even though it did make me cry 2.5 times. But I still can't figure out who the movie was for. And so many notes of mine are like, this movie's really grim.
But you complain all the time about how kids movies are watered down.
Oh, absolutely.
And there's no scary kids movies out there before. I would argue that this is a scary kids movie then. But you're saying that it's not scary enough?
It's just grim. It's just grim. Grim doesn't mean scary.
Well,
it just means
you can't dictate what the movie's going to be. If you want these type of films, you have to be okay with if it doesn't.
I'm okay with it.
It's not, but you're not okay with it.
It doesn't go enough one way or the other way. Yeah. It needs to be scarier, or it needs to be a little funnier, or it needs to be scarier and funnier. It just really toes this middle line that just makes it kind of like, like I should have laughed more or been like, oh, gross more. I don't know. Like in Nightmare, I do both. And I love Nightmare Before Christmas. But in this movie, I just watch it.
What if there was music in this movie? Would you like it? They're singing.
If they were singing, it would take away, I think, the musical world would take away from the emotion of, Sparky's deaths and stuff like that.
Interesting. Well,
Yeah.
Well, give me the notes. Give me the notes that you liked about it, because I thought that you had
seen it before.
Yeah. That's why I didn't think that you were just afraid to watch it.
No, yeah, I was just afraid to watch it.
You baby.
I don't watch movies where dog dies.
You've never seen Turner and Hooch?
I've seen Turner and Hooch.
Okay.
Well, my parents were like, watch your dog's life, watch your dog, or this other movie. And I was like, it's about a dog dying though, right? Oh no, it's about a bunch of dogs dying. It's like, no, it's not watching
more than one, baby.
Yeah, it's like, what? I was like, no, I don't want to watch that. It's got some moments that I like the opening for instance, I really like the first scene in the classroom where you see all the different kids and they're all kind of horror tropes.
Yeah.
You've got almost a come in kind of Frankenstein-esque imposing lurch figure in one of the kids. You have Toshiaki. He's not really a horror trope, but he does. Yeah. He reminds me of some of the characters from Isle of Dogs. Like, kind of like him.
But he's almost like his character is almost, he is there so that he can have the Godzilla like monster.
He can have Gamera come out.
It's kind of like, all right, I guess that's fine. But yeah.
Then there's
the weird
girl. There's Elsa, who's obviously kind of a ripoff on Winona Ryder from Beetlejuice.
But she's also a Van Helsing. Yeah,
she's a Van Helsing. Yeah. Edgar's Igor. And they're all in the classroom together. And I thought that was really good. And they're all very depressed. And they're all telling the same spooky stories about what happens, why there's so much lightning in the town. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was really funny and well done. And I was like, they're all the gross Tim Burton characters. It's not like in most of his movies, you get that one kind of depressing goth-like character, and then the rest of the characters are all supposed to be light and happy. But in this town, it's all the kids are like that. I
Yeah.
thought that was really funny telling that scary story. But then it kind of goes off and now they're playing baseball and they're just bullies. And they're not really
Who's bullies? The kids?
all the kids
right.
are bullies. And so
Yeah.
it's tough to like the kids after that because then you find out, well, they're all just bullies. No one's good. They're all just backstabbing bullies. They're not funny. Their personalities all go away into this kind of droll meanness of wanting to win the science fair, but they're all suddenly all
Yeah.
into science.
One of my notes is that the science fair was like hard, cutthroat. It was really hardcore. Like, just I will not lose. I'm like, when did the science fair become this big? The other note I had about the science was, Victor spends a lot of time and effort learning and building the device and learning about bioelectricity and cutting a hole in his parents' roof. So I guess that's okay. And doing this whole thing. Well, actually, I take it back. There's a skylight. He cuts the roof in the short. It's like he looks like he cut open the roof.
Yeah.
So he does this whole thing and he brings Sparky back to life and throws out the 3 kites, almost the umbrellas.
Yep.
These other kids, all they do is throw a kite up in the air, attach the jumper cables, and go. Like, there's no science in what they're doing.
There's no actual work involved. There's just boom, the lightning hits.
Right.
Whereas Victor has a ton of devices to channel that lightning to do something.
Right. At the end of the movie, it makes more sense when he wants to recharge or try to wake up Sparky again, because he's already been
brought back to life.
Right,
yeah. You're just recharging batteries that are already in him.
Which I actually like. That's one of my favorite lines in the movie, in a lot of movies, is when his father tells him, and he's like, I thought you said we have to let it go. And his father's like, sometimes adults don't know what they're talking about.
I have that line. I like
that's
that
a great
well.
line. That is absolutely, it's absolutely truth. Absolutely.
Yep.
Sometimes adults have no idea what they're talking about.
I also like that the parents, when they first see the reanimated Sparky, they don't hate Sparky. They're just a little shocked.
But they're really just a little quick to accept it. Be like, oh, you reanimated him? Okay.
Well, I think the fact is that it's still Sparky.
Yeah.
Which I think it works a little better than in the live action short where they've already seen Sparky alive. Sparky's looking at their faces. He's still happy. And they are afraid of him now.
Yeah.
It's like, you already know that that's still your dog.
Yeah.
Where in this, the parents just have this initial shock, and it does scare Sparky and kind of frightens him a little bit.
Yeah.
But the parents are quick to look for Sparky again and not think he's scary.
Right. But you're also trying to weave in the Frankenstein story within there. Obviously, the villagers chasing him down with the fire.
Oh, absolutely. Well, that's why, they think he kills. He's trying to tell them, hey, Elsa's been kidnapped, lays down her hair, and
so
they think he killed him.
We're going to sue Bob the mayor now, right? Because he's incited a mob. He's burned down the windmill.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely.
He should lose office, right? That's going to happen, right?
Absolutely. He's just a total bad guy. He's not nice at all.
I mean, I love how the elementary school kids have no problem breaking and entering into the house. That seems.
Oh yeah, they just go into the attic. They're just looking around.
Yeah.
Oh, they're all bad. They're all bad kids. I will say, like I said, I don't think there's a lot of funny moments. I do love Colossus. I thought that was really funny.
Well, why? Because he's the hamster?
Because he's the hamster. Because like I said, I only remember bits and pieces from when I was seeing it in the booth. So I remember there's a big monster, but I didn't remember that it was a turtle. And I was like, oh, Colossus got to be like his pet octopus, or what is that? And then the little hamster, which I was like, what is that thing coming out? He's like, come Colossus. And then when he sends Colossus out to kill Gamera, the Shelly, the turtle.
Yeah.
Go Colossus, kill. And he just immediately gets stomped on after growling like he's going to do it. I just thought that was really, really good. I also like the sea monkeys as well.
I had a Ghoulies vibe with the sea monkeys when they started coming out of the toilet. I don't know. For those who maybe are familiar with some 80s horror, Ghoulies was after Critters, because Critters was the first one. Maybe. I might be wrong there, but it was around the same time.
Yeah.
And Ghoulies came out. Yeah, it was like no, I take it back. It was after Gremlins. So it was like a Gremlins almost rip-off kind of thing.
They're more like a little more evil kind of thing.
Yeah.
I love when they come up, Bob's sitting in the toilet, and then one of the sea monkeys comes out and just starts laughing.
Yeah.
And the effect of the sea monkeys on the phone booth were really good too, which is very much birds, obviously. Oh, yeah. And Bob in the toilet was supposed to be Jurassic Park. So I thought those were the homages in the movie are very well done, and I really like those.
No, the sea monkeys are scary, and almost the sea monkeys being the baddies was done well, but it could have been, you don't need Shelly. You know what I mean?
Shelly's a little much, but Shelly's very much of that time.
True.
Whereas the sea monkeys are more 80s. So I think you got to have the Shelley be the main bad.
When he reanimates the fish and the fish is invisible, and he goes back to the teacher, and the teacher's like, you also have to have it in your heart too.
You have to have love, yeah.
I get that, but that still doesn't explain the fact that it's invisible and, you know, why the different monsters are, you know, I get why the bat and Mr. Whiskers became the hybrid because the bat was there.
Right. She was biting the bat.
But it doesn't make sense why Shelley gets big, you know, why the hamster doesn't, like why Colossus doesn't get big.
Yeah, Colossus just stays normal. Everything else mutates. Yeah. But I think the difference, maybe Colossus, and this is probably just me like nitpicking or finding something. Colossus, clearly that kid really likes Colossus and kind of loves Colossus still and is attached to it. Whereas all the other kids just, obviously the sea monkeys have no attachment. Mm-hmm. And Shelley is just being used as a science project. There's no love there.
Yeah.
Whereas Colossus, there's still maybe a little bit of love.
True. He's buried in that giant mausoleum.
Okay, spent a lot of money on them.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of Edgar's stupid face. I know he's supposed to be Igor.
He's a little much.
Yeah, it's just, I wasn't a fan. I was just
like, I also didn't enjoy him being as almost like kind of the main bad guy.
Well, he's like supposed to be, I know he's Igor, so you know he's linked with Victor in some way, but he's not really linked with Victor. He bribes himself into the house.
Exactly. He's not like, he doesn't play the sidekick role.
Yeah. Victor's kind of a loner in the movie, but you know, you would think that Edgar would have been his best friend.
Yeah.
I mean, it goes to maybe Burton's feelings or even John August's feelings about all these kids and their friendships, and if there are really friends or growing up and, you know, you really are alone, that kind of thing. You know, Victor never really, to your point, like Victor gets Sparky back and it's a happy ending, but like Victor's still lonely. Victor doesn't have any friends and he's fine with that. But I mean, is that a message you want to put in that movie? You know what I mean? Like,
I think the message is also you don't want to be forced to have friends. You can't force something on somebody. Like the dad forces Victor to do baseball. Nobody's happy.
No, I get that, but I would think that at some point, it's Frankenstein. It's a kid's movie. I get it. You're trying to redo Frankenstein, but like at some point, you have to let your dog go. You have to be okay with your dog passing away and moving on.
That's not the best lesson.
It's not because
you can't bring your dog back.
So, you know, but again, it's a kid's movie, but still,
right.
I think that kind of lesson and maybe a little bit more depth within the writing of that story. And I'm not pinning it at anybody in terms of writing. It could be just an exec saying like, hey, let's just do this.
Right.
But that maybe would give Frankenweenie a little bit more legs in terms of its reach beyond 2012. You know, it only made $81 million, but animated movies typically do make well, do well because kids want to see them. And something, maybe the fact that it's black and white, that it's dour, that maybe it didn't do well in the box office. I'm curious if it does well in home video release. Now that it's on Disney Plus, you can't really verify that. You can only
measure that success. Yeah.
How many people are subscribing to Disney Plus because of Frankenweenie? You know, like,
I can watch it as many times as I want.
I know WandaVision's on there. I know they got the Marvel movies, but that Frankenweenie put me over the top. I had to do it. And I'm talking about the shorts
of all the Disney movies.
Yeah. So it probably could have been a little bit more of a stronger story in there. I think it's a very positive message to have in there that sometimes you just have to let your dog go. But I get why you don't, because it's a Frankenstein movie. But even in Frankenstein, he died. So, or Mary Shelley's Frankenstein.
Well, this movie's already glum. I mean, if Sparky stayed dead.
But Sparky dies the hero, it's not as glum.
It's still pretty glum. If Sparky died and didn't come back to this movie, and man, that'd be bad. That'd be tough. That'd be a rough movie. And how many kids are going to want to watch that again and again and again?
I know. I get it. Listen, no one's going to want to watch this movie that I'm about to pitch you. If Victor's a lonely kid and the dog passes away and he brings the dog back, but the dog tries to teach Victor that he doesn't need him, he needs to have friends, and the dog kind of like gets Victor to forget about him, and then the dog leaves and never comes back.
Oh yeah, exactly. I was watching that.
But that's a good lesson.
I mean, I know that's a good lesson, but that's not a good movie.
Oh, who's to say? Who are you? Are you Disney? Who do you think you are?
I think I'm somebody who doesn't want to watch a movie where a dog dies, comes back, and leaves his boy. Who's sitting down on a Saturday night going, yes, this is what I want to watch.
Well, it was us because we did this movie. So, yes.
I reluctantly did this movie.
You're such a baby.
It would be nice if maybe Sparky he gets jump started, but it takes a little while longer, like the next day or 2 days later, and he's hanging out with Elsa now. Like and then Sparky comes back.
What if Sparky comes back, but he progressively becomes evil?
Then it's Cujo, and we don't. Or Pet Cemetery.
I'm just saying. I'm saying it would be interesting.
It would be interesting, but that's a Stephen King novel now.
What's wrong with that? What's wrong with that?
Disney presents Tim Burton and Stephen King's Frankenweenie.
So basically everything we're saying right now is probably why we think it's forgotten in terms of why people don't like it. I definitely think it's an acquired taste. I think older children will probably like this more. Older adults who remember these movies would like it more. Young kids who are like 8, 9 aren't probably, unless they like those type of stuff, this type of dark, would like this movie. But it's not like people who love the Minions.
Oh yeah, they're not liking this.
People who love Shrek, they're not racing out to see Frankenweenie, and that's probably why it's partly forgotten, because people don't revisit it.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I'm glad I watched this movie, and I really, although I do think it's dour and I have issues with it, I appreciate it, and I did enjoy that it was made, and I like that I saw it once. But yeah, I'm not going back to it. And even as a child, I loved Nightmare Before Christmas. I don't know if I'd have liked this, and I would have appreciated the horror stuff, and I still don't know if I would have.
Well, I think Nightmare Before
really
Christmas, not to cut
this.
you off, but Nightmare Before Christmas has all of these memorable songs. And that's why it's not just about how it's a great idea. It's a great premise, Halloween Town, and they have all the different
holidays and stuff like that. Yeah.
It's a great idea. But I mean, because here's the thing about Christmas Town. They have Christmas every day. So like, there's no other people that live in Halloween Town, but Christmas, regardless of that. Like, do the people in Easter Town celebrate Christmas ever? Halloween ever?
They don't know about, unless the holidays have crossed over.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. They don't cross over.
Yeah, when they do, madness happens. Yeah, it's totally set up for more sequels that never happen.
But it's a great premise, but it has a lot of nice music in it. There's a lot of good songs in it. This movie doesn't have music. It's not in color. It's in black and white.
I think the black and white thing also hurts it. And the whole time you're looking at the sets, and a lot of them are in color. And I'm thinking it would have been nice to see this movie in color. I would have liked to see the work they put into it. I know that in certain scenes they had to change, like the flags, red, white, and blue. I
thought that was interesting too.
So it's got to be black, white, and like a gold look better.
Yeah, they were talking. Butler's talking about the animation in terms of, because it was shot black and white, but the color, they had to make colors that played as the colors if they were black and white. So they had to pick a brown for the flags, because brown in the black and white photography looked like red,
right?
Which is very fascinating.
What I like, they had a whole palette board, but the whole time I'm thinking, this had to be what people in the 20s and 30s, 10s, 20s and 30s were going through. And like, is that like lost to time now?
No, I don't think so.
Booklet of,
because what they were shooting. Oh, maybe you're right. No,
there's got to be some cinematographer who wrote down like, this is what actually looks better if you're shooting black and white.
Maybe.
But like, is that lost to time now? Is that like a lost art form almost?
Oh, black and white photography. Yeah,
exactly. Like,
well, get ready. Lighting for film is going to be a lost art form eventually. People aren't going to know how to light for film.
I thought you meant like lighting on set. No. Yeah, lighting for film.
Yeah, like there probably exists right now. There are people who are cinematographers that are coming up now that have only shot on digital and have no idea how to shoot. I'm telling you.
Oh, I don't know though, because like
they have.
When you and I were both in film school, we both started with those crappy little 8mm things.
Of course,
like the 1930s silent film cameras.
We are old now.
Yeah, but I'm saying they're still going to upgrade. They're still going to start with a film camera. It's just going to be a slightly more advanced.
So I went to New York Film Academy.
You think they'll start with digital?
I went to New York Film Academy for 2 months. Here's the thing. It's not. I'm not going to say you shouldn't go. But it's a lot of money. And if you just watch movies and you study film theory on your own, you don't, and you know how to perform shots, you don't need to go to any film school. But regardless of that, I went to New York Film Academy. We shot on 16mm film. I think I told you this, the film canisters or the cameras that they used in World War II. That's how old they were.
That's what I started with. Yeah.
So I think maybe 10 years ago, I remember, because you kind of get the updates, they went all digital.
Oh, really?
Now, maybe if you're actively looking for film and you want to shoot on film, sure. But if you just show up to a film school, or you show up to a school and you're like, oh, I want to be a cinematographer, they're all working digital. If not now, they will be in 20 years. I'm telling you, there's film is going to go away. It's too expensive to develop. It's too expensive to keep building because nobody wants it. It'll be a boutique thing. It'll be like Christopher Nolan when he's 80 years old in 2050 or 2060. He'll be like, I wanted to shoot this on film and I wanted my sound mix to be ridiculous because I don't want you to understand what everything's going on. And, just, but that's what's going to be.
And now I'm curious.
It doesn't bring me great joy to say this. I'm just admitting that this is what it's going to be like.
I almost wonder what Hofstra's doing now then. That's where I went to film. So I wonder if they changed.
When you find out, you should tell them that, hey, we have a podcast called Forgotten Cinema. And maybe you should tell other people that are.
Does anyone remember me? Anyone from 12 years ago?
Who is that guy? Hey, Boomer.
What's going on? What's going on, my kids? My fellow children?
Hey, guys. All right. So I threw me for a loop. I thought you had seen this movie.
I'm sorry that it's through. I don't know how it threw you for a loop.
Because I usually approach the episode a little differently.
With that in mind?
Yeah.
Right.
I didn't even think about that.
That's fine.
That's good, though. That's good.
Yeah.
No, it's good. Good. So would you even recommend this movie to somebody? So somebody has kids and they're looking for a movie. And they're like, oh, I want a kids movie that's like the movies we used to watch, but we were growing up. You recommended this? You recommended Monster House?
I'm probably recommending Monster House, Paranorman, Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah.
Maybe if they really liked Nightmare Before Christmas and Paranorman, maybe then.
Yeah.
I don't think kids that like Monster House would necessarily like this, though. I think
the animation
Monster House is a little different.
When we talk about this in our Monster House episode, the animation of Monster House is completely dated.
It's rough. Yeah.
But for when it was coming out, it was, oh my God, this looks good. But it is tough to look at now.
Yeah. Well, that's also it's CG.
No, I got you.
So yeah, but claymation good claymation lasts forever.
Yes, agreed.
Yeah,
good claymation. Which this is. This is very. See, I would tell people to watch this movie because I think it's well done. It looks good.
Well, I'm saying, would you tell somebody you asked, would you have your kids? Would you tell somebody to have their kids watch this?
I'd have them watch it. I think Penelope, she's watched it, obviously. I'm wondering I think Dexter would like it. He's watched Nightmare Before Christmas. He likes Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah, when I was 5 or 6, I was obsessed with Nightmare Before Christmas.
So I mean, I think he would watch this. I thought he would be scared of that. So no, I think he'd check it out. He knew I told him we were doing this movie, so I know he knows of it. So I'm wondering if he'll ever watch it, but I'm not gonna. They watch it on their own. They don't even freaking ask me, why you want to watch this? No, they're just on their iPads watching movies.
That's sad.
I know. Makes you.
He's gonna find Star Wars without you, man. He's gonna find Indiana Jones.
I've had it on. See, the problem with Star Wars is I've had it on down here. It gets boring for them. You know what I mean? It just gets
crazy to me.
Why? They're talking. They don't want the talking. They want all the action.
Yeah.
And Star Wars has a lot of talking.
Did you put episode 1 on for him?
No, I did not put episode 1.
Once those pod racers go across because he's so into cars.
I'm going to tell you
that's
now.
How you do
I'm not exposing my children to Star Wars the incorrect way. They will be exposed to it 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9. That's how they will be exposed to it.
But you need those vehicles for him to be.
I don't give a crap. It's not happening. All right, it's not happening.
How about Indiana Jones?
Well, it would be this Raiders and yeah. Well, how else would I do it?
I'm saying get him started.
Yeah, listen,
you're wasting time. Okay, so you are wasting time.
He is what? He's going to be 9, and so you want me to introduce him to Temple of Doom, hearts being ripped out of chest when he's 10, dude.
See, my parents didn't let me watch Temple of Doom till later, but I watched. But Raiders and Last Crusade, I watched growing up all the time from when I was like 4.
We'll see. I mean, if they're on,
right,
and they come down, I'm not going to shut them off, you know. So, but they never come down. They never visit their father.
Must force them.
All right, why don't you tell everyone where they can find us?
You can find us at ForgottenCinemaPodcast.com. You can also find us at ForgottenEntertainment.com as we're part of the Forgotten Entertainment family. You can also clearly find us wherever you listen to podcasts because you're listening to us right now. Please like, review, subscribe, all that good stuff. You can also find us on the social medias at Forgotten Cinema or Forgotten Cinema Pod. We post every weekday and we post fun little commercials every Thursday. We think they're fun because they are fun. And we also take suggestions. We might not get to them right away. It might take a while, but if you want to email us or even communicate, let us know what you think about the movie. You can send us an email at ForgottenCinemaPodcast@gmail.com or just comment on our social media.
It's ForgottenCinemaPod@gmail.com.
You can email us at ForgottenCinemaPod@gmail.com or just simply comment on one of our posts and let us know what you thought of the movie. We do this because we love movies, so we love talking about movies clearly. So join in on the fun.
I thought we did this because we're super rich.
We want to be super rich.
Okay.
We want to be
super rich. So as I said in the beginning, this is episode number 99, which means next week is our 100th episode.
Ooh.
And I don't know how we got into this movie for our 100th episode. We're going to be going only a few years. 2016, we're doing Pop Star, Never Stopping. I remember when we watched this movie we watched the screening.
We did. And you didn't want to watch it.
I didn't want to watch it because I was just like, I'm not a huge Andy Samberg guy.
Yeah.
I like him, but I think that I just don't think he's, I don't know. I maybe because I grew up with, other people.
Right.
You know what I mean? Just kind of like I'm older, but this movie is very funny. We couldn't stop laughing.
Yes.
Yeah.
We ended up on this movie because we didn't realize it was the 100th movie.
Well, that's fine. Who cares?
It just happens.
It doesn't matter.
But at least it's a fun one.
Yeah, no, and see, that's the thing with comedies. All we do is sit there and we just do lines.
So we're gonna laugh for 100th episode. You got a problem with laughing? Yes, it's gonna be MacGruber all over again. But
I love MacGruber. Okay, so that's next week. Pop Star, Never Stopping. I'm Mike Field.
I'm Mike Butler,
and this has been Forgotten Cinema.
Mr. Mittens had to dream about you again.
Can you imagine pooping out a bee?